Alright, what's going on YouTube? We're back with another episode of some... Actually, it's a new series. So, it's a new episode. But, it's another episode in the line of Unreal Engine tutorials. Now, if you heard one of my recent RPG tutorials, depending on how soon you're watching this, and I believe episode 17 it was, I had stated that I would upload some or start a new series on an FPS game from scratch. And now that was delayed, but I'm starting that now, and this is going to be a series that you can get free content for. Content will always be in the description. Downloads I'll try to keep those always in the description, and the stuff that we will be using from like content and adding to our project will all be free. So, number one thing that you're going to want to do, obviously, I'm doing this in 4.10. This should work in 11, 4.11, and 4.12, I'm assuming, even 4.9. It's just that this should still work. If you have problems or running into problems because you're using a different version, comment or whatever, and I will absolutely do my best to help. So, launch Unreal Engine, and that's going to pop up. And in the meantime, if if your Unreal Engine takes a while to pop up or whatever, whoa, my ear just popped there for a second. You're going to want to download a couple of things. Really, the main thing that you're going to want to download if you want to learn FPS games and stuff and mess around with this is in C# or C++. We're going to be doing blueprints, but you can still mess around with this. It's the shooter game project. You can mess around with that and pull some assets from that and put it into this if you don't like what I'm using. But what I'm going to be using for animations mostly, and we may change this later, I'm going to mostly be using the animation starter pack, and this is super easy, but I will be doing maybe doing a video on more advanced animations if I decide to do that later on. So Unreal Engine pops up. You're going to want to obviously do new project in blueprints, and you're going to immediately assume, oh, we're going to do first person. Well, no, I'm not going to do first person. We're actually, we're actually going to do third person because it makes our lives a little bit easier. At least makes my life a little bit easier because I can reference back to oh, I don't know. I can't do high quality. I can reference back to uh, some of the way they did the third person stuff because I'll have to do that from time to time. But feel free to grab assets from the first person if you want. Grab assets from anywhere. Either way, so we're starting on third person. Do with the starter content by all means. I like the starter content for a reason. It gets you started, and I'm just gonna call this YouTube FPS Scratch. Can't spell. I'm sure I spelled that wrong, but maybe I didn't. Anyways, while that project is generating, I'm going to pause the video and add the animation starter pack to this project, and I will be right back once all of that is done. Alright, so now it's done, and we're going to do, oh man, didn't want to do that. We're going to do the basics of getting your project ready to roll. And that's going to be a few steps, and then we'll get into the actual game building stuff. So number one thing, and I'm going to have to do this before I forget to do this later on and am completely losing it because I'm wondering why stuff isn't working. Enable socket snapping. That's going to be very important for a lot of what we're going to do, and that's about it that we're going to have to do settings wise. Everything else is pretty much good to go. So I already imported that animation starter pack like I said I was going to. So we can open that up, and if you want to mess around with a potential of what it's going to look like, kind of, you can, I guess, mess around with this, but this is going to be um, a little better than that. So what we're going to want to do is go. I guess we can start a new folder um, called uh, player stuff. So this is where all the player and the player stuff is going to be. Um, and just create a super simple character. And if you've seen my other tutorials, I'm still just going to call this bro dude for consistency, because it's going to be easy for me to just call him bro dude because it's a familiar name for me. All right, so we're going to open up our bro dude, and we're not obviously going to have too much to mess around with yet, but we can get him started. So I'm going to eventually down the line I'm probably going to get a better mesh for all these tutorial series. I've pretty much just stuck with this character except for the RPG series. I've stuck with this character, and I think I'm going to do a better one later on. But for right now, we haven't imported anything new, and I don't have links for any of that. So we're going to import him in and set the rotation and all proper so that way he fits inside that little capsule like he should. Um, that looks fine. And so we don't want to. Now we need to actually make the animation blueprint, and we could use one of the ones that's already made for us, but that is kind of useless because if we use those, we're gonna pretty much have to change everything that's already done in them. So if you wanted, you could uh, take the jog and just replace the animations with the first person, and you could duplicate this animation blueprint and duplicate or replace everything with the aim down sights, but we're not going to do that. So we are going to just make everything from scratch. So that's obviously the purpose of this uh, tutorial. So go to animations, and we are going to create a new animation blueprint. So this is obviously going to be for the UE4 skeleton. Now there's two of these, and one comes with Unreal Engine, and one is for from the animation starter pack. So I don't actually know which one I picked, so I'm gonna go back and check which one I picked. I picked the one that comes with Unreal Engine. You're gonna probably want to do the animation starter pack one since those are the animations that we're gonna be using. Cool. So um, I didn't get to name him, so I'm gonna do that again because I don't know if it picked animation starter pack. I hope it did, but it doesn't matter. So animation starter pack. Okay. So bro, dude, anims. All right. So we don't need to necessarily mess with any of this as of now, but what we can do is get uh, a well. This is a trick I do because I always forget what it's called. Oh, that's what it is. Sorry. Get a state engine or state machine. Sorry. And in the if you've ever looked at the animation blueprints for Animation Starter Pack or the one that comes with it, it's probably called Locomotion. Um, so it's completely different for this because it's called a state machine. And someone's knocking on my door. That's kind of inconvenient. Okay, well that was inconvenient. Um, I wish it would stop doing that. So it's it's actually called a state machine. I was always confused and I thought it was always called a locomotion, so that's what I would look up. So for consistency, let's call it locomotion because that's what I've always known it as. Sorry for that interruption. troubles had to happen, and you don't know, but this is actually the next day that I'm recording this. Before we get started with the rest of the tutorial, I just wanted to say I finished the complete tutorial, and I thought I was recording. I thought I was recording the whole thing, but I wasn't. So that's fun. So obviously, right now I can see that I am recording, but last time I was confused because it said preview. It was on preview stream and I wasn't paying attention. Now I'm actually recording. So I'm not going to be able to walk you through everything because I'm not going to delete everything and do it all again. I'm just lazy like that. But I will walk you through it like you are doing it from scratch. So this is where we left off. This wasn't connected, but you're going to want to connect this. So open up your locomotion, and I am on the wrong blueprint. That's fun. Still, this wasn't connected, but still, you're going to want to open it up, and you're not going to have anything here. So drag off entry and do a new state. Call that idle. So that's what we have here. Call that idle. And that's what you're always going to be at. Compile this every time, save it always, and that's what we're going to be at always. And then before we get into what's inside here, do a new state, drag off from here, and do a new state, call it run, and then drag back to idle. I don't need to. Anyways, I didn't even know you could do that, but that's kind of cool. I'm sure that makes animations that much more advanced, and I could do cooler stuff with that. Anyways, so we're going to want the idle. Now, the default idle that comes with this has a weird, shaky kind of movement to it that I really, really don't like. You can kind of see it here. It's moving around, and you don't want that because in an FPS, when you're sitting there and your guy's shaking and you're just trying to sit still and just aim something up, whether you're scoping or whatever, it's going to read that idle no matter what, whether you're moving or not. I haven't set up to where idles ensue when you're not moving your camera. But I should. So, this is not what you're going to want if you're just scoping down the site and it's moving everywhere. Now, of course, with the scope, you're going to want a little bit of movement, but trust me, I've scoped with that, and that is like you're from that guy all the way over to China and back with that kind of sway, and that's not what you want. So, simply what I did is I duplicated that into our animations folder. I duplicated it, and I had all of these. You have all of these. I think it had about 95 strings of animation, and just right click on, keep this little red thing on 0, right click on 0, and it's going to say like delete like 3 through 190, and then delete 1 through 3. Just keep pressing delete. Make sure you don't delete 0. Keep it always on 0. Make sure you delete 1 through frame 1 through 190, and that's what you're going to want. Plop that right in here, and now you'll have a steady idle animation. Now, on our run, what we want is we want to be able to, have different directions in running and stuff. And to do that, we have to create something what's called a blend space. Now, our blend space, some people find it confusing. I always find it confusing, and I never remember how to do it. So, I'm going to go over how to create a blend space. So let's open this up, and obviously you're going to have to create it. I created one just called Run BS in our anims. Yes, I know, it's a whole lot of running BS. And here we'll have a couple things that might shock some people. They're like, oh man, there's stuff here that I've never seen before. I've never even messed around with this when I'm goofing off with Unreal Engine. If you have goofed off with it. Maybe you're just starting now. It doesn't really matter. This might scare some people, and some people aren't intimidated at all. But you don't need to be, because this is something, if you're creating animations and walking and stuff, that you're going to want to become familiar with, and you don't need to be intimidated. So, on your X-axis label, you're going to want to put direction, because that's going to be edited later for depending on what direction we're moving. Make the range from -180 to 180. Your axis divisions will already be at 4, so just leave that there. Now, speed will be your y-axis label, because that's obviously what's going to be, that's going to be a value, excuse me, I can't speak, that you saw here, They're both values that we're going to be editing. And I'll demo it over here to determine what our speed is. So make that right y-axis range 0 to 127. You can make it however high you want. It's just speed. It's really not going to make it move any faster than the animation can move. Those values are for your own personal use. But that's pretty much what it commonly is and what I've seen in most other blueprints that come with UE4. So apply parameter changes, because otherwise if you move away, you're going to have to do all that typing again, because we know direction 180, speed, and 270 are just a lot of typing. Man. Now, we actually get into throwing in these animations. So what this is a grid where you can put at each intersection, you can put an animation. Now, each one of these is an animation that we have in here. So I have the additive setting at just idle iron sights. You don't have to have that, but if it isn't working for you, then maybe that means that you do have to have it. So you can see as I'm moving around here, the guy is changing how he's walking slightly, and those will all be for what direction we are moving in, whether it's forwards, whether it's backwards, whether it's left, or whether it's right, or a little bit in between, which there's always going to be something like that. So really all you have to do is go down what I did to the bottom, because the walks, because it doesn't count the the iron sight animations. That's what I'm looking for. It doesn't count the iron sight animations as jogging, counts them as walking. So walk backwards will be in your top left and your top right corner. You just take it and you just simply drag it in. That's all you do. Walk forwards are going to be top center, bottom center, and walk left will be in bottom left and bottom middle left, and top middle left. Walk right will be bottom right, bottom middle right, and top middle right. And that's it for the blend space. Simply all you have to do is drag it on in here from your list, whatever you called it. Obviously I called it Run BS. You're going to save everything up to make those stupid little stars go away, because they irritate me a whole lot. And you're going to want to create some variables. So obviously just right click on direction, right click on speed, promote direction to variable, promote speed to variable. If it doesn't rename it, which I thought it used to rename it automatically to what this was, but apparently it didn't, of course just call it direction speed. So I've already set it up, and we're going to have to set these values up, but when you move direction and speed over 10, you can make it over whatever you want to be. The direction obviously changes, and it's from negative 180 to normal 180, so it doesn't really matter. But as you can see, it changes what is going on here. And you can see what's being active. See, the second we go over 10, it's active. Below 10, it's that's active. So you get to see how stuff works. Anyways, I'm going to zero both of those values out. And on our conduits, which are the little back and forth things, idle to run. You're going to want to drag this off and do that little arrow key that is it's going to be pointing to the left. If you are pointing to the right. If you aren't good with math and you don't know what that means greater than. Excuse me for the yawn. So what this is saying is if the value of speed is greater than 10, then we are going to transition over to run. On the other hand, if you type the little lesser than symbol, you're going to see one that says float lesser than float. Also, yeah, by the way, these all should be floats. Float lesser equal to float. That's saying if speed is lesser than 10 or even equal to 10, then we're going to go back to the idle animations. That's how that works.
Now that you're done with your animations, hop over back to the Bro Dude. Now, this stuff obviously was not in our event graph, and we hadn't even messed with our event graph, but we'll copy those over real quick, since I'm already there. So since obviously you have the animation starter pack, open up the blueprint for it. It's the UE4 ASP character. We're just going to copy a couple things. You can really copy all of this because we're going to use all of this. I am going to be honest, we will use all of these. So just copy movement input, mouse input. This is for WASD, and this is for our looking left and right. We haven't added up and down. That'll be in the next episode. Obviously, this is the jump, and I said this is going to be from scratch, but really, this is from scratch as it's going to get, if you will, quote unquote. This is really excuse me, as simple as it gets, and it's already there. It's just easy for us to use. So I don't feel like I need to go over it, and I thought it would just be easier to copy that over. So now that you have these there, I also added a camera just so that way we can see our character moving around, and we'll see his animations and whatnot. Man, I'm losing it here. Oh, right. So we're not going to see the actual walking implemented quite yet because I'm going to show that to you guys in the actual live, if you will. I haven't pre-done that, but in camera, just use pawn control rotation. You don't have to do that, but you're going to want that checked in first-person mode for sure. Now on the mesh, we didn't have any animation blueprint selected, but select what you created. I created Bro Dude Anims, so that's what we're more yawns. That's what we're gonna select. Sorry, it's only 9:50 in the morning. I woke up about an hour ago. um, so that's obviously what we're gonna have, and it's gonna set you to that once you compile and all that. So we're gonna play and you get to test it out. And so, like I said, we got no jump because I didn't copy that over, but we get to look around and we get to left and right and move WASD. But why? Why is it not working? Why is there no motion? Well, I'm going to show you that. Whoa, in a real quick second. This is why, is because we don't have this movement thing casting to our character set up. Now this is in the other one, the one that comes with the animation starter pack. But once again, it's already there. This is as basic as it gets, and I don't feel like I need to recreate it. But we are going to replace some things in here, but everything at the end of the day will be all fine and dandy. So just copy this. You can copy jump if you want because we're still going to use it. So just Control C that, hop over to your Bro Dude Anims, your event graph, delete this crap, and paste that in here. Now, obviously, there is going to be some stuff, so you're going to want to create the variable enable jumps. That way, that error is gone, and the other error that you're going to have is crouching. Just create that variable because we're obviously going to use that later. Now, it's casting to character. Now, this is casting to the wrong thing. We don't want it to be character, and we don't want it to be actually, sorry, we do want this to be character because characters are our normal guy thing. Our gosh, I can't think of what it is. That's the default blueprint class, so that's going to be fine, I believe. But what isn't going to be fine is the cast to this character right here. So we're gonna type in Bro Dude, and it'll automatically type up pop up cast Bro Dude, and just reconnect everything as it was. Now, obviously, we don't have that because Bro Dude doesn't have jump button down right now, but we will add that later, and that will get fixed as it is fixed. But I believe that is correct, and we will be able to walk around now. So if you had any issues with that, obviously just slap it in the comments, and we'll cover that I'm sorry. I just love having my jump. I have to put the jump in there. It is driving me insane. Like the level of insanity that I am gaining right now because of us not being able to jump. I don't think you understand. I just love my jump functions. Just just gotta have me, man. Anyways, we're not gonna have some stuff, so just promote the variables. It's gonna be super simple. And now we get to jump. That's fun, right? And heck, if you want, you can even connect to the crap that I was talking about since we've got it now. Wow, really? I mean, let's jump button down. It's kind of right there. It's fine. It's not that big a deal. Input action crouch. Yeah, it's whatever. We'll add it later. But that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Figured out all your animations. If you have problems, comments, just put it in the comment section. Please subscribe. Check out my other videos. And stick around for the rest of the series because it's going to be a growing series. We're going to start everything from scratch. There's going to be no paid content that you're going to have to deal with once again. And I hope I hope this helped you guys, and I hope you guys will stick around for the rest of it. So, yeah, actually, this is the end of the video. Wow, why am I still recording? Okay, bye.